Hey everyone, it's Cammy. So today we're going to do our 1 month full HRT update video. Now, most people when they do their 1 month HRT video, there isn't a whole lot of like physical changes to talk about or real dramatic changes to talk about. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to tell you about the changes that have gone on, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the medications that I'm on and kind of show them to you. So if you end up with a similar treatment, then you will know a little bit about it. Hashtag not medical advice. And then after that, I'll give you a little pitch for the GoFundMe. Content warning. Probably. I'm going to be talking about my genitals, if that bothers you. Okay, so changes that I have had. Really, there's not a lot. Well, actually, let me back up. I was on just testosterone blockers for about 2.5 months before I started the full HRT. I did videos about those. I haven't had a lot of dramatic changes since then, which means I really kind of reached the end of my, or I reached as far as I was going to go on the T blocker journey. So I'm glad that I decided to move on to the full HRT. I want to make sure we don't get interrupted. We've got enough feline interruption in the background. So HRT is supposed to do a few different things to your hair. It's supposed to slow the growth of hair, which, as you can tell by how shaggy I am, which quarantine life, you can see my hair hasn't really slowed down in its growth, but my hair tends to grow really fast anyway. The other thing that it's supposed to do is slow down and reverse some forms of male pattern baldness. I had a little bit of thinning right here, which hasn't progressed for like a year or so. So I think it was mostly stress related, and thus whatever. So estrogen is also supposed to reduce your amount of body hair, until most girls it ends up being like completely gone. I apologize for my voice. With the quarantine on, I have not spoken a whole hell of a lot, so my voice is kind of weird. Anyway, it's supposed to thin and in most cases completely remove body hair, which is one thing that I'm very much looking forward to. It hasn't for me. I don't know how well you can tell with the different camera setup. I know the last camera setup you couldn't tell that I had body hair at all. But yeah, so I still have some of that. I thought that it was starting to thin out a little bit on my arms, but I don't think it actually is now that I've kept a closer eye on it. So that's my hair situation. My skin has gotten a little bit softer, a little bit better. Floyd, hey, I'm recording. He wants his input. My skin has gotten a little softer. I have noticed that it's not really much different than what I had just from the T blockers. A couple things that have noticeably changed is I smell different. When I was a kid, I used to see these commercials on TV for deodorant of strong enough for you but pH balanced for him, which I always thought was super stupid. Turns out I think I may have been mistaken, that there really is a legitimate pH balance difference. I just smell different. If I get sweaty or whatnot, I don't stank like a dude, which is nice. especially now with the weather starting to get warmer. It's been something I've noticed. Estrogen also tends to create some loss of muscle, which I've never really been terribly strong to begin with, but I have noticed a little bit of that. I started working out just a little bit to try and combat it, but the other day I had trouble opening a jar, which has never happened to me before, or never really been much of a thing before. So I have noticed a little bit of muscle loss. I talked about breast growth in my last T-blocker video, and that hasn't really changed. I still have little proto titties, so I haven't noticed anything there. And now my genitals, which is why you guys all came here. T-blockers and estrogen are quite often cause genital atrophy, is what they call it, which is a shrinking of the genitals to what I've heard some people call a use it or lose it type of thing, which I have only sort of noticed. It tends to stop what they call spontaneous erections, which is basically your body will occasionally send blood to the area to cause an erection, and then it kind of goes away after a little bit. Happens a lot when you're sleeping, which is what causes morning wood. And it's basically just the body's way of making sure that it still works when it needs to. And estrogen and testosterone blockers tend to reduce that. And I have noticed that I don't get the same kind of spontaneous erections very randomly, or very occasionally. It still happens, but not very much. So in order to combat genital atrophy, I guess would be a good terminology or whatever for it, in order to kind of stop it from being a thing, I'm trying to not run into stuff over here. In order for it to try to not be a thing, I'm trying to figure out how to put this delicately. I self-stimulate a few times, once or twice a day, usually. It's not really a thing that I wanna have happen right now, so, which it hasn't really been anyway. So that's talking about my dick. That's really all I have for any kind of real changes. So now we'll talk a little bit about the meds that I'm on. I'm only on two things, which these are pretty common things to be on. I'm on spironolactone, which is a pill, which is this guy. It is 100 milligrams. I should look this up. Yeah, so it's 100 milligrams twice a day, which is a normal dose. There are some side effects usually that people talk about with Spiro, which I haven't noticed any of these common side effects. For the first month, when I was just on Spiro, it was a lower dose. It was, I think, 50 milligrams twice a day. When I went on to full HRT a month ago, it went up to 100 milligrams twice a day. Haven't noticed any changes, or like for side effects and whatnot with the up dosage. The other thing, and this is the more interesting one, is I didn't get it ready. One second. Okay, so I'm on estradiol patches. That's one of these guys. It's a estradiol transdermal system, which means that it's for trans people. Not really. No, transdermal just means through the skin. So it's a patch that goes on your body. I'll open this up and show it to you in a second, but they come in little boxes like this. Open up. Inside, you're supposed to take it twice a week. And inside, you choose which days, and then you mark it off. The other thing, which I'm running low on patches, I need to re-up my subscription. I think this is ridiculous. This is the information packet that comes in it, and you guys have got to see the size of this thing. It is ridiculous. And the tiniest print you can imagine. Every time I hold one of these up, it's probably going out of focus. So I apologize for this. Now, a lot of the time when you get big, like poster size, I could frame it and put it on the wall. So a lot of the time when you get big information sheets like this, it'll be 1 or 2 columns in English and then a bunch of columns and then the rest in other languages. Now this entire thing is in English. It has a lengthy table of contents on the front here. There is so much information on this that is completely unnecessary. I don't need to know the molecular, what do they call it? The molecular formula. Actually shows, which is ridiculous, all kinds of shit that I don't need. I need to know how to put it on and like a couple other things. I don't need that much info. But I think it's fucking absurd. So this is the patch. They come in all single packs. I don't know what. So, okay. I don't know the dosage, and I don't know that it matters. For the first month, I was on one patch, one patch twice a week, which they also have patches that are once a week. But the endocrinologist, transdoc, I don't know what to call her. Anyway, there are some patches that are once a week, but she said a lot of people will have a hard time making them stick for an entire week. So the patches twice a week is what she recommended. It's what I went with. For estrogen, they also have pill form, which some people call titty skittles, which I think is just ridiculous. I love the term. I kind of wish I was on the pills. But the pills aren't as effective. It depends on your age group, apparently. And then there's also injections, which I wasn't keen on injecting myself with stuff. So patches are the best for me. So you rip it open, and inside is the patch itself. They are tiny, teeny tiny little things. They've got a plastic backing. It peels off. I don't know why you can see that. And then it's kind of like a Band-Aid. You stick it, and then you peel off the other side. Once it's stuck, which you're actually not supposed to touch the inside. I'm going to throw this one away. I'm not actually going to use this one. So you stick it on, and then which it has to go somewhere in your trunk. So I put them off to the side a little bit. If I put them towards the middle, I still have a lot of belly hair. So if I put them towards the middle, they start to itch really bad and they push off. So I put them off to the side. Anyway, so you put it on, and then you press and hold it for a little while, maybe a minute or so. And the heater hand and whatnot makes it adhere, and then it just kind of sticks for as long as I need it to. It stays on in the shower. I get this little, anyone who's ever been on patches of things has seen this, but I get this little rectangle of grime that the glue has picked up, which I have to scrub off and doesn't always come off, so sometimes I get these little rectangle spots. So that's the meds. There are side effects associated with the estradiol. They sometimes cause some blood pressure issues, that can cause, and this is really the only one that I've noticed for myself, they can cause, excuse me for a second. So they can cause dizziness and lightheadedness. When I started taking it, I was probably only a couple of days in, and I had a pretty bad bout of vertigo. Bout of vertigo when I first got up, when I first woke up. So I ended up having to stay in bed for 15 minutes or so before I felt comfortable standing up and moving around. It happened like one other time in the last month, but not really dramatic at all. Aside from that first bit, that's really all I've noticed for side effects. I don't know what these patches are made out of. I think they're silicone, but they feel like silicone, but they might be latex. So anyone who has a latex allergy, I have a friend who is allergic to a lot of adhesives, so I don't think she would be able to use patches like that. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm on. That's, if you go on patches, going to be pretty much the same thing, so you know a little bit about maybe what to expect if you're on a similar hormone regimen that I am. So yeah, that's it for that. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me and being my friend. If you have the money, and only if you have the money, you can go check out the GoFundMe. It's link in the description. It's I'm raising money to get laser hair removal for my face. Every time I do one of these videos, I put $20 of my own money in there. Eventually I will hit the goal, and then I will go do it. Yeah, again, only if you have the money. If you find value in what I've done, what I do here with these little videos, then I welcome you to subscribe and share on social media and whatnot, so other people can check it out too. That is it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.